Paths. I am your host, J.O. Benjamin, and I am so excited to have right here in Paths, in my path, in your path, Etta East, writer and director. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Boo. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling great?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing.
Feeling good, feeling great, amazing, good.
Yeah, now you're confusing me.
Okay, then we're going to keep going.
There we go.
So let's start from the beginning. How did you even get here, right? So what's your background? Where are you from?
I'm originally from Maryland, the DMV area for anybody from up top, but I've been here long enough to be a transplant, ATLian, and my background is Jamaica. I was raised between Jamaica and America, so cultured, all around, a little south, a little northeast, a little island.
Yeah. So what brought you to Atlanta?
One of my cousins decided she wanted to go to Clark Atlanta University, and the whole family was like, all right, Atlanta is where it at. And that's when the movie ATL came out. So it was hot, it was popping. We all moved down from Maryland down to the south.
Oh, wow. Like whole family moved.
Like literally, like cousins, aunties, my mama, everybody. And the house market looked great. My mom figured it would be a good place and, a good place for opportunity for all of us.
Wow. First place you went when you got down here?
I ain't even gonna lie, I didn't even want to be here.
Ooh,
it was a whole different area, and we didn't. It wasn't like T.I. and it was like Nunu and everybody in the movie. When I moved down here, we moved to the boonies, really nice, middle class neighborhoods. They build amazing with a lot of Black families with big homes. That was a plus. But on the way to school, I saw cows, alpacas. On the weekends, they did cow tipping, stuff I'm not used to. I'm used to the city, the metro. So yeah, first thing I saw was Walmart and Kroger.
And were you shocked? Because I know the Walmarts in the DMV area are not like the Walmarts down here, especially the supers.
I ain't really even go to Walmart like that. Y'all had QT, we had 7-Eleven. It was like two different worlds. I had to get accustomed to it, but once I grew older and I was able to venture into Atlanta, I realized how rich it was and how cultured and how just deep and diverse it was, and that was exciting.
Yeah. So how does someone break into the industry as a writer and a director?
It's not easy, I could say that much, especially starting up in this industry. I transitioned from journalism to film, so it took some time, it took some research, it took a lot of programs, a lot of networking, realizing that networking doesn't work. You meet a lot of people who just do a lot of talking, less than action, and it's very competitive. You really have to make your own way, your own path, wink, wink. Breaking the wall. It pretty much, I just kind of had to find out my own kind of groove, my own journey. So it took a minute to transition over, and it took a while to get into film and directing. But once I did and met the right people and started becoming surrounded with like-minded people, it was smooth sailing.
Yeah. So when you say you started out in journalism, let's dig deeper in that. How did you start out in journalism? You went to school for journalism, and then what was that moment that said, "Hey, this is actually not what I want to do"?
It's crazy because I've been doing journalism since I was in elementary school. We had broadcast and journalism programs, middle school, high school. I had an internship out of high school in the CNN program with Turner Broadcasting and 21st Century Leaders. And I, really was propelled into that program and really, was successful in that program. And I always knew that's what I wanted to do. People knew that that's what my path was, to be a broadcast journalist. I loved CNN. I loved Wolf Blitzer and Anderson Cooper, wanted to be like them. And then it just didn't feel real anymore, especially with the print journalism. I just knew that wasn't my life. And I've always been a creative person. I've always written poetry and competed in poetry. I've won poetry scholarships and have done those programs. And I just didn't like the direction that news was going in. It was a lot of violence. It's a lot of negative stories, and especially with people of color, the narratives were never the same. And I realized, I was like, if those are the narratives that I have to tell, I don't want to tell those narratives. I want to be a part of the piece that brings people happiness from the destruction that they see every day. And I wanted to be a part of that. So I decided that I wanted to create stories. And, I figured, I was like, oh, I'm a writer. I'm a beast at this. It's easy, and that transition was not easy, but it's a whole different avenue, and I had to figure out that lane, and I really had to apply myself. So, yeah.
So what were some of those transitional steps that you were like, whoa, this is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be?
Figuring out where to go. I thought networking, they teach connect with people, and that's before I really started to play around with social media. I never even wanted to be on social media. I'm still learning to really get comfortable in social media and post. But I really had to figure out programs and things that were good for me. Because you meet people, I realized that wasn't the way starting earlier on, because I met people at events. You connect with them, you work on this project, it never comes out. You work with this person, the whole vibe is sketchy. I don't know if y'all saw Tia and Tamara when she ended up in the basement and he had the little teeny weeny swimsuit. It was those vibes. Things were always not the way they should have been. I realized I'm like, okay, I have to figure out where I need to be, and I have to figure out the best way to get there. And I realized, I was like, okay, look for programs. And I was like, okay, let me get active on social media. So social media was really a driving force in my success. I found a program on Facebook. Once I entered that program, I met somebody who told me about another program. Once I connected with that person and did that program, I was recommended for something else that led me to France and to doing a film program there, where one of my films won Best Film in our program during the Cannes Film Festival. And so, I ain't gonna lie, Instagram, Facebook brought me across the country and showed me that, what I really wanted was limitless, that opportunities for people like me, it could be boundless. There are no ceilings for us. And that just really started to push me even more. So, that transition really started to really become easier once I applied myself through programs, and once I really started to, invest more in social media.
Yeah. So for some of the students looking, when you say programs, is there one that you would recommend, or one that was just super pivotal in your journey, like an exact program?
Clayton State's Writing for the Screen program was pivotal. They also have the Georgia Film Academy program, which is amazing. It teaches you the production side of things, from prep to production to post to editing to writing to being on set. It shows you all around how to do that. And now a couple of the universities around Georgia have them. They even, teach you that program on, I believe, Pinewood Studios too. And Akil Dupont is one of the teachers of that, and that program is amazing. So if anybody is just getting their foot in, that's definitely an amazing program. And I say to start young, because one thing when I was in Maryland, it was very competitive. And I didn't know about much programs when I was in high school. As soon as I transitioned down here, I started to learn about a lot of those programs. And I started in high school. From me, 10th, 11th grade, getting into that CNN program, I never would have known something like that existed where I was from. So Georgia, really changed the game for me, and that was unexpected, because I saw a cow and an alpaca when I got here. I didn't know that was gonna happen. So I wanted to go back home. Pretty much.
So the cow could have curved the path.
The cow
but instead
curved
we
the
just
path.
waited for it to move.
I just say no. It was symbolic at the time. So yeah. In hindsight, I think I needed to move. So I say so. Thank the cow, and then thank Clark Atlanta University. So bringing the whole fam down here, I guess. So.
Boom. Yeah. So the cow and Clark. Even though you didn't directly go there, right? It was just the move of another family member, and you trusting the process and deciding to stay here and stick it out, right?
Yeah, I had a Jamaican family. I ain't had no choice. I know. Let me stop. Let me stop.
You can leave.
It's amazing, y'all. Pop, pop, pop. Shout out to my country.
So what was the first film that you wrote? What was that feeling like?
Well, I've written so much. I can't even tell you what's the first thing I've written.
Yeah.
But some of my favorites are comedy and thrillers. I love horror and I love comedy. And they're really hard to really achieve a really good horror and a really good comedy film. And I noticed that, especially with, films with underrepresented people, it's always kind of like one category. It's always dramas in the same storyline, or 1,000 Christmas movies. And I don't like Christmas movies because of that. We always have Christmas movies, even though I directed a Christmas movie, but that was different.
Because you wrote it, so it was bomb.
I didn't write it. Dan Wright Originals wrote it, but I directed it. But it was different. Tim wrote that one. It was different. So I thought it was funny. I was like, okay, this is kind of like, I was like, this is more my speed. But I realized, I'm like, man, we always have the same type of stuff. And when I did see a thriller and I got excited, it was on BT. I was like, oh snap, an all black cast. It's a horror movie. Let me see what's up. And it was some weird voodoo doctor thing that is constantly done. I was like, yeah, we can't have this. Get your pen, Etta. Let's start writing. Now the game has changed, especially with Jordan Peele, kind of just showing us the way with that. There's so many other narratives, so many other stories. I've seen some great horrors, which made me, have faith in it again. I'm like, okay, see, we have these stories now, Boots wrote, Sorry to Bother You. That was phenomenal. Just so many different types of films. Now we're in other categories. Now we not only have to find ourselves in other faces, we see ourselves now. So times are changing, and I'm glad to be a part of that move, a part of that shift.
Yeah. What does your writing process look like?
Man, this for the kids? What is for again? Whiskey, tequila, I know. My writing process.
Tequila.
No.
It's like 21 and up.
When I was 21 and up. No. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I can't forcefully write. I have to I'm kind of a spontaneous writer. Like, I'll write something, I'll put something down. I have multiple books, multiple journals filled with content, from quotes to doodles to little jokes to songs. So, I might write a verse or two, a hook, ghostwriter. To a premise, a synopsis, a poem. So just well-versed in all of that. So it kind of spontaneously comes, I'll be meditating and I'll be like, ooh, an idea, and I'll write it on my board, or I'll be talking to you right now and I'm like, oh snap, and then I'll save it in my files in my mind, like, okay, let me put that out, or put it in my phone right quick. It just kind of comes to me. I don't really have a certain process, because I've always been a writer since I was younger, and a part of the reason why I write is because I was so bad at it. And at one point when I was younger, all of my siblings went to school in Jamaica and transitioned up here, and then I went to school here, but I had issues with reading and issues with writing, and it was so bad, and even just my dialect, the way I speak, they took me out of regular classes and put me in special needs classes, and for a while, so I could learn how to better articulate myself, so I could learn how to read and write. So I was, considered like the duncest of my siblings. So I wrote to help myself, become better, to kind of run to that, and being bullied when I was younger too, because of that. And then after that, I started to excel. I became, the top writer. I got into this program. So writing was kind of the thing that, helped me cope with the issues I was having and with me struggling. And, my uncle, he taught me writing and taught me poetry. Mm-hmm. And when he was murdered, I went to doing it even more and more to cope with that and dealing with that. And I went from that to, writing, stuff for scholarships and winning scholarships, and won a couple of scholarships out of high school, writing people's college papers, even though I wasn't supposed to do that. I helped 8 people graduate college, by the way. So I went from the girl who couldn't read and write to the girl who's writing stories that are on TV now, to the girl that's writing films that, are in development, to the girl that has written so much dope stuff, and directing so much dope stuff. So, you never know where life takes you. And I never would have thought that I would be a writer-director, because I didn't know that that was possible for me, someone who struggled so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's a word for a student who is really watching this video and maybe feeling, because of where they are on their path, they cannot end up here, right? You kind of poured into something that you wasn't good at, and you made your weakness your strength.
Yeah.
Or your area of growth your strength, your hugest strength, and now it is a driving force in your passion.
It sure is. Go ahead and summarize it up, sis.
No.
Summarize it for the people.
I like it. It's a driving force in your passion. Who were some of those major influencers in your life that were your cheerleaders, your champions, really in your corner?
Well, you really have to have a great support system, and I'm so grateful for my family. Like I said, my uncle, when people tease me, he's like, no, sit down, you're gonna do this, you're gonna get better at it.
Yeah.
And he wrote poetry, and he's like, you're gonna learn this. And him and my brother, my older brother, they sat me down, they would always watch CNN, and that's why I was so obsessed with it. I'm like, I wanna be a journalist. And when other people laughed, they were the driving force. My grandmother, Pamela Campbell, rest in peace, one of the baddest Jamaican women around. She was like, screw that, here's some fun with Dick and Jane books, here's a Nazi the Spider stories, she gonna read. They supported me through and through. I'm grateful for my mother. I'm grateful for my siblings. I have amazing siblings, 4 other older siblings, and they always look out for me. They don't play about baby sis, and they're all super intelligent. And they was like, nah, can't one of us be dumb? Come on, you gonna level up. So they helped me level up. So grateful for them. Grateful for amazing poets like Maya Angelou, grateful for Langston Hughes, grateful for Nikki Giovanni, who is one of my favorites, go-tos, to read their work, inspired me and made me better. Grateful for Robert Greene, author of the 48 Laws of Power. I was able to work for him when I wrote for a magazine when I was still doing journalism and assisting him here, and he told me great things and allowed me to read my poetry to him and told me how amazing that was. And he's like, you're unstoppable, you can do great things, and you need to push through. Etta, grateful for people like that, and everyone who has opened doors and who, helped eliminate that crab in the barrel mentality, and was, that we have in our community, which, I hope it's soon to be extinguished. Grateful for them for pushing me because, like each one teach one, somebody doing something great for me, I put forward for another person. And that's what helped me create programs like Film Family. When I, got into a program like the one in France, I alley-hooped 3 of my people. I'm like, if I get 1, I'm gonna push through 5. Wow. Like I'm gonna push my people through, just like Issa said, I'm rooting for everybody Black, any underrepresented person, no matter their culture, no matter where they're from, I'm pushing them through. If I get pushed through, you gonna get pushed through. I got booked on a film, I brought 12 of my friends on that film. Everybody's getting money. We're all leveling up, we're all getting opportunity. That's my mindset always.
We're keeping it in the family right here and there.
Yeah, everybody. We all going up. That's my mentality. I don't have time to be selfish because I used to be insecure about my talents. But once you know how great you are, and that takes time, once you crush those insecurities and you find out how great you are, you focus and, tune in with yourself and eliminate jealousy and anger, you realize just what you're capable of. And once you know what you're capable of, there's no reason to be jealous or envious of anybody and their greatness, because that's their greatness, that's their time. You know what you're bound for. And I know I'm great as hell. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm a bomb-ass writer.
Hey.
I'm bomb writer, bomb director, so I'm willing to push the next person through because I don't know what they're capable of, and if they get it, that's for them. If I get it, it's for me.
Yeah. So what are you currently reading right now?
Oh my God, girl, I ain't had time to read. I'm joking, y'all, I'm joking. I ain't even gonna lie and say I read. My girlfriend be like, what book you reading? She be reading. She be like, you reading? While she's on her laptop. No, I've been a director's assistant, so I've been reading other people's scripts, other show scripts, and I've been learning from that, and that has been amazing to see the process on the next level, because I'm on my level up year right now, girl. So I'm assisting people and learning the game. So in the next years, I'm at that level, and I know how to train and teach that next person who wants to know the game. So
yeah. So in reading scripts, are you noticing any kind of nuances or things that you're like, I haven't read a script like this, maybe in a certain genre, or that kind of sheds light on a certain walk of life or lifestyle?
Not yet, but I've recently worked on, as a director's assistant, on a live action project, and I've never had an interest in live action or wanted to really work in there. Like I said, thriller comedy is my main, and dramas. I'm well versed with writing, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. But in directing, those type of projects. Yeah. But live action and with the special effects and flying and explosions and stuff, I'm like, oh snap! I'm like, this is kind of dope. I think I could do this too. So, that's what's good to get out there and experience things and, check out opportunities because you learn things and you kind of feel out what's for you, what you might be interested in. Yeah. And, reading those scripts and being in those rooms. And it's good. You have to get in those rooms. Being in those rooms and listening in, you learn a lot and you take in a lot. And then you kind of process that within yourself and it adds to the things that you want to do and your goals. So yeah, that's been amazing. So yeah, I've absorbed a lot of what I've been, learning through working lately.
Yeah, you're in that stretch role or stretch area.
Yes.
You're the rubber band, and when it comes back all together.
A whole sponge. I'm just like taking it all in, girl, all in.
And is that a piece of advice you would tell to the students, like making sure they're consistently being a sponge? Because it sounds like you're always being a student. You're learning from your family. You're picking up things from actual directors who you're working with on a daily. You're reading scripts.
Yep.
It's like you're consistently being a student.
Yep. And you do. And I fully agree. And I had a friend she had a professor who she would always tell me about the things she learned from him. Of course, you exchange information with each other. Yep. You can't be a part of that. That person tells you about that. That's a good thing too, to have good relationships. So you have people like that. But she shared something one of her professors said, and she was like, my professor tells me to be a student of the world, and my professor considers herself a student of the world because you never stop learning. Everything is in every moment in your life is an opportunity to learn something new. Whether you succeed at it, whether you fail at it, we all go through our trials and tribulations, our trying times, but you learn from that. So you're constantly a student of the world. So, no matter what they're doing, where they are, that's not the end. There's always a beginning in every situation, even when it feels like an end. So you have to always be open to constantly learning, especially when you're wrong. You want to learn so the next time you won't be.
Yeah. So was there a moment between being a writer and transitioning into being a director where you was like, whoa, I didn't know that about being a director. Like, it was like that moment, like,
yeah.
Learned that one a little bit the hard way, but got it for next time.
Right. I had a friend, and I gotta, give Lauren her flowers because the only reason I am a director, the whole bouquet, is because of this woman for two reasons. Because in one of our programs, our classes, her work kind of got picked and propelled, over mine. And, she was picked to be on the writer side of the program. And because I'm so animated, they're like, you should be an actress, Etta. You should be on the acting side of the program. And I wanted to be a writer, but they only have room for Lauren. So instead of being like, screw Lauren, she's whack, her story's whack, I'm like, how can I learn from this person?
Yeah.
If she's chosen, let me learn from her. We built a friendship from that. She poured into me, we poured into each other. And Lauren started to pick up on me being a director. And she's like, Etta, you're a director. You're a writer now, but you're a director. I'm like, nah, Lauren, shut up. I ain't no director. She's like, no, you're a director. So she kept telling me for a while. And other people would say to me, she's like, Etta, I really think you should start directing. And I'm like, I don't even know anything about directing. Where would I even start directing? I ain't go to school for that. So I realized, I didn't have to go to school for that. And I started to, read the thing I'm not doing now. I started to do that. Read. Let me stop. I started to read and started to learn about directing and put myself in, places to learn from people. And if I worked on a production, and I saw a dope director, I'm like, can I shadow you? Bobby Huntley is a dope director who I got to shadow, who I got to AD for, and love Bobby. Bobby is amazing. He is phenomenal. So you learn from people. And, from that, I'm like, okay, I have to try this out or test that out. And then one of the programs I was in had an opportunity for me to submit a film for the program, but you can only submit if it was from a writer-director, not a writer. And I was like, damn, I only write stuff. I'm like, but I want to get in this program. Yeah. So then I called up my good homie. We're like a dope duo. Clifford L. Johnson. If you don't know Cliff, DP, like Cliff is everything. Whenever I get booked, Cliff gets booked. Even when we don't work together, we somehow get booked to be booked together. It constantly happens. Again, this year we got booked together, though that project was postponed. But I hit up Cliff. I'm like, yo, Cliff, you gotta be a writer director to get into this program. You wanna come DP? And then Cliff was like, all right, when is it? I'm like, it's due in 4 days. Cliff was like, what? I'm like, I have this dope script from a class and I think it's good. We can do it this real quick. And Cliff was like, it's only because of you. you, Etta. And we filmed that thing, did it in my mama's house. Thank you, mama. We did several movies in my mama's house. And we filmed it, we submitted it and made it up to the last level. It didn't get chosen, but it showed me, and I was like, oh my God, like my film made it to a level. This is the first film I've directed. Maybe Lauren wasn't lying. Maybe I'm good at this. And then I realized, I'm like, of course I got to prepare better next time. But I was like, okay, I could do this. And then I started being more serious about it.
Yeah. What's one director that you want to work with that you haven't got the opportunity to work with yet? That you foresee in your future?
Regina King.
You fully, you fully manifest.
Yes, straight up. Any other director that I really want to work with? No, I'm open. I'm open. Debbie Allen. I'm open. I'm willing to work with whatever amazing director there is out there, and there's so many. I would love to work with and learn under them. The directors that I've worked with recently, grateful for them. Maggie Kiley, Crystal Robertson, I'm grateful for them and the things I've learned from them. And the director I'm currently working with as well, Rob, is amazing. So, as his assistant on games we play on BET, shameless plug. But yeah, you learn different things from each director, and they teach you things, and everyone has a different process. And I've been watching their process, and Rob has shared so much with me, and he asked me what I learned after each day. Maggie has, shared her shot list with me, so I know exactly, without me asking, exactly what to look for, because I shared with them I want to direct. They put me out there. Crystal has shared scripts for me to look and read and see what it looks like and what she looks for before she books a project. And Crystal is amazing as well. She's directed Bigger on BET, and Queen Sugar and such. So I've learned from them, and it's been amazing to be able to learn from those people who are where I want to be. And I can't wait to be at that level. I've even, worked for a showrunner, Diablo Cody, who's Oscar-winning showrunner for, Oscar-winning screenwriter for the movie Juno. And she changed the game then, because she came out of nowhere with this indie film and won an Oscar, and everyone's like, what the hell? And, seeing her process, and it's been amazing. Never thought in a million years I would work for her. Yeah. So it's been pretty dope. So it's taught me so much. It's good to actually get to shadow and work with those people in the places you want to be too, so you can prepare yourself for that place.
Yeah. So in that process of shadowing, right? And having the door, right, kind of being opened for you at those moments, right? People are allowing you into the exclusive up close access. Like, this kind of how I do my process. This is kind of what I'm doing. How are you doing that for the next generation or the next people who are coming up under you as directors and writers?
And not everyone does that too. So you have to be grateful when you're able to work with someone who does that. So I've been blessed to be able to. I'm so grateful for that. And I got to shout out my homie, producer, POC Glenn Colwood, for always alley-hooping me for opportunities. One thing about Glenn, if you say you're not working, you're going to work. He's going to find you a job. Anybody you can ask on the show on something right now, they know Glenn Colwood. But with Film Family, that's a nonprofit organization for filmmakers of color that I co-founded with 6 other co-founders. So we create opportunity, community, which you definitely need, especially during times when we're going through so much, family, film family, right, support, we support filmmakers, and also give them their recognition, letting them know that what they're doing is great. So through Film Family is a program that I accidentally became a catalyst for, because I was tired of the crab in a barrel mentality. I was tired of the cattiness, meeting a filmmaker who you want to work with, and you meeting them for the 7th time, and they act like they don't know who you are. It's like, it's an extraness from people who only want to work with people with this purpose. And at first, I was kind of butthurt from it, but I realized, I'm like, they don't know me, they don't know what I'm able to bring to the table, so why would they want to work with me? So I'm like, let me figure it out. But I also wanted to eliminate that line too. I'm like, but also, like, you have to give people a chance. If someone is willing and hungry the way I was hungry and ready for it, you have to give people a chance. So when I, like I said, each one teach one, just kind of alley hooping someone over. As soon as I got in the program, I was like, whoa, let me send this over to some of my friends. And with Film Family, it was Film Sisters initially. I told 3 friends about it, 2 friends about it. She told her friend. We created an Instagram group, and they went to the program in LA, which was amazing at the American Film Market, and killed it in their respective internships. I did the program in Toronto as well as Utah at Sundance Film Festival. And they told more people about it. They're like, let's add other people to this group. They added more people to the group. It grew. Next thing I looked at the group, we outgrew Instagrams, DMs. And I'm like, who are all these women? And they're like, let's move to group me. Then the group kept growing. And I'm like, I just was trying to share opportunity. I ain't silence it. I saw one girl who spoke the most in the group. Congratulations to Victoria Renee. She just graduated or is graduating shortly with her degree from USC, top film schools. But yeah, she was talking a lot in that group. I'm like, who's this girl? So I reached out to her. I'm like, you want to make this into something? She's like, yeah, girl. So, and I'm like, we got film brothers who be looking out for us too. We got to look out for the men. So then it became all of us. And then Jordan Bradley, a dope visual artist, a dope editor, director, visions by JB. He was like, yo, y'all should be a family, film family. So we represent not only different cultures and underrepresented people, but also, the lesbian, bi community, gay community who don't like to label themselves. So that's why we became film family, respectively. And then of course my collaborative platform, One District, which also supports filmmakers and their projects, as well as, projects that I've created. So that's how I, immersed all of that and, how I push out and help the communities.
Film family. People going to the website. Where if a student is like, I want to get involved right now, Etta is lit. How do I get connected?
Oh, I'm lit. I thought it was just the plug. Let me stop. Not that type of plug. So www.filmfamily.org if they want to learn about it. Film Family Org on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Is that all the social medias? Yeah, we don't TikTok. So yeah, join us now. Like, we don't do that. We're not Barney, but so they can follow filmfamily.org and learn about the other co-founders, learn about the programs, learn about the things they offer. Amazing organization.
And One District?
One District, we are doing a rebrand, a refresh.
Okay.
So the new for that, videos, content, all of that is dropping July 2021. So look out for that. But One District is on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The website will be dropping then. It's just at One District, 1DISTRKT. One District.
I love it. Was that a past exclusive? Has that date been dropped or shared anywhere else?
Oh no, it ain't been, shared anywhere else, girl. Where we looking?
Exclusive, right here. You heard it first.
Yeah, so I got cameras. Right. So yeah. So it's a lot of the content I've been, pouring into other people's projects for years. And with One District, I've invested and we've invested thousands in other filmmakers' projects. So, we're continuing to do that. So we want to expand and we want to continue to support other filmmakers, as well as it's time for me to start, producing my, work and my content. So
yeah,
I've been doing everybody else's. It's time, DMX voice right now, it's time for me to, actually push out my written work that's been in a vault this whole time, so.
What is motivating you to share? Because I know a lot of people, like you said, multiple journals, multiple books, stories for days, so many notes. I don't even know how many notes I have, so many notes. What is that okay, now it's time. Why now?
Man, I'm telling you, people starting to forget that I write. And new people don't know I write. They're
like,
you write?
That'll do
I'm
it.
like, yeah, I write too. And people are like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, you want to direct this movie? I write, So it's like no one knows I'm a writer, and that's where I came from, and I live and breathe that. Yeah. And I've evolved so much, and I learned, all the ends of it, or almost, all the ends of it, not everything. And I was like, now is the time, and I'm ready to get my work out there. My work is bothering me, it's harassing me, it's ready to come out. I'm ready for it to come out. it's time, and for me to get to that next level, it's time for me to, progress. And, I'm like Erica Badu, I'm sensitive about my issue. And I don't want anybody stealing my stories, because that too, I have to say, creators, protect your work. Yeah. Everyone's excited. You want to send out your work to people, but I have had something taken from me. And even in the last year, I've had, someone take something that I shared to collaborate and wanted to make it their own. So you have to be careful, and you trust people in this industry so much. You have to protect yourself, especially with your intellectual work, your intellectual property, and your written work. So you have to be careful, but it's about time. And that also pushed me too. I was like, listen, Etta, you playing games. I'm still a director always, but my written work is my bread and butter. So
yeah, I mean, and let's talk about it, right? Because I don't even think we've had that conversation on cast yet. Protecting your work, being very sensitive, because you're so excited. You want to say, hey, check this idea out, da, da, da. How do you navigate into those conversations without it being awkward? It's like, I trust you and I want to collaborate with you, but at the same time, I still need to protect my work. How do you navigate in those conversations?
Well, an old friend of mine, he taught me that, and he was like, Etta, we're friends, we're good friends, we don't want to mess up this friendship. And he was like, I love your work, but I think we need paperwork. And I'm like, you sure it's me and you? He's like, no, definitely to protect yourself too. And he taught me that. He's like, always do paperwork, always do contracts. And we did that, and it made sense. Because at one point, somebody forgot where the number ended. I'm like, the number's right there. and he was the one that said it. And then he had to see oh yeah, the number's right there. And I was like, you're right. That contract was good. So yeah, you have to do paperwork. You have to do contracts. And it's uncomfortable, but someone who is at the same level as you, and someone who respects you, and someone who is not willing to do you dirty will not have an issue with it.
Yeah.
If someone has an issue with it, that means their intentions aren't right, and you need to have the discernment to know that that's your moment to pack your bags and head on out of that collaboration, because it's a no-no for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Go off of the energy, the vibe, and even if the energy and the vibe is good, contact your lawyer, Legal Shield. $17 a month.
Yes, please plug
contact
it. Please,
them, figure it out.
Please plug it, because I was
figure
just
it out.
about to
If
say.
you can't afford a larger lawyer, go ahead, contact them, figure it out. Get a simple document, LegalZoom, anything, put it together and send it to them. You sign it. Once they sign it, it's binding, and make sure you keep it and keep records of it. Don't do text messages. Don't do verbal. Always do emails. Timestamps, and you always have that. So always protect yourself. You're a creator. You don't want to be that person, because it's a double-edged sword situation. If somebody takes your work because it's like, well, you should have put it out, or if you say something makes you look like, the person or the issue that's bitter about it, when it might have meant something, great to you, even though it said, never be that attached to work. Sometimes people are that attached to work because our stories not only come from fabrications of our imagination, it comes from, experiences and real life situations, or someone who you may have been connected to, their stories. So it will always have a personal connection because you're a person and it's personal to you. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Etta, what questions are you asking yourself right now?
Oh Lord, girl, you asking me the questions. I'm asking myself what I'm about to eat for dinner. I'm asking myself, why do I get these nails this long? Because it's new. Trying to treat myself, girl. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I am asking myself, what is next? What do I need to do to achieve what's next, and how I'm gonna go about it? Those are the questions I ask every day. What are you gonna do today, Etta? How are you gonna go about that? Okay, what are you gonna do in order to achieve that? Okay, it doesn't work. One thing I don't do is beat myself up. I don't set up these high expectations so I feel like a failure. You make your goal sheet, you make your list. That's why I don't use planners. I know it's trendy. I know everybody lives by the planner, but I don't use planners at all, because I don't like to set up all this stuff and then I didn't finish or fulfill everything I planned, and it's just a whole thing with all the colors and the stickers and the highlighters. I'm old school and I put stuff together that way, and it works for me. It may not work for everyone. So use your planner, sir, ma'am, all of the above.
So what is the day to day or day in the life of a director, right? You walk on set, I think based upon movies, people are like, oh, every time you see the director on a movie screen, it's like action, cut, and that's it. Like you would think that's all a director does.
No, that's an amazing question. Because what you said is what I thought is all a director does. Everyone thinks that's all a director does. You see them with the little bullhorn and they have the sleigh. Right. The chair. And it's literally easier said than done. Yeah. And it's a whole process. And like I said, it's good to know those people and be able to shadow and get to the places that you want to be in and shadow the people in the places that you want to be in, because you see the process from prep to production to post. And it's a lot. It's a lot. And even the shot list, and I finally come up with my own, way, my own method of doing my shot list, but I'm still learning. I'm seeing other people's shot lists, and I figured out what works best for me and what works for my DP. And it's a process. It's not easy, and you're working with your talent. You have to figure out what works for them. And, on a larger scale, you're working with the production company and locations and wardrobe and sound and, everybody at once, having to give them notes and break down everything. So it's not an easy task, but yeah.
More of the story. It is not cut in action. It is not cut in action.
It looks like action and cut. You're like, oh, they won an easy award, but it's filmmaking is a team sport.
Yeah.
And also the director is definitely a coach. They help, the producer is the coach, but the director is right there, like assistant coach. They are helping everything run smoothly, and they are bringing that vision to life.
Yeah.
Vision to visual. And that's, why I love it. I love the process. And I only like to work on things that I'm able to be a part of, from prep to production to post, so I can help the all around story.
From vision to visual.
Mm-hmm. Vision to visual.
So we do this thing on Paths where we got tweetables, quotables, Facebookables, whatever people call it these days. Okay. And so we look into the camera and we say that little one-liner statement. And what is that one-liner statement for you that you would say to a student who's watching this video right now?
And my friends can tell you I say this all the time. And I'm looking into the camera?
Yeah, we right here.
Oh, okay. I see the point. I see the finger. I got you, girl. She directed me. Remix the narrative. And do I say why remix the narrative?
Oh, yeah.
Or just remix the narrative? Oh, wait, that's, y'all, I'm not directable. Remix the narrative. Okay. No, remix the narrative, and remix the narrative because that's one of the first things I said to myself when starting, writing and directing and transitioning to film. And that's the reason why, because I wanted to remix the narrative. I wanted to change what I was seeing, and I wanted to be a part of those stories that are taking us further, into the future and, telling our story. So I decided to remix the narrative. So remix the narrative in your life. Whether you're struggling in school, you remix it, you become the one who's excelling. You go from not being able to write like I did. Whether, you want to come out of a bad situation to a better situation. You have so many people who've come out of worse situations to better situations. You remix it because you are in control of your life, of your path. And once you realize that, you are limitless. So remix your narrative.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
it.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
what I live by.
Oh my God. There you have it. Miss Etta East, right here on Paths, sharing her story, sharing her truth. And I know that somebody watching this Paths video is gonna be like, I can do it too. Right? And maybe not like you do it, because the way you do it, only you can do it the way you do it.
Everybody can do it.
But they are going to be a little bit more motivated on their journey, right? Tapping into your fears, to shadowing, to like, hey, now I'm at the point of birthing. I'm about to birth something that I've been working on, that's been bugging me and getting on my nerves.
Give birth.
Oh my God, girl, the baby, your water broke like 8 years ago. Like, what's happening?
It's happening. No, yeah, you definitely have to. And go ahead and do that voice acting, girl. That rasp is getting me. That's some blues right there. That is some rhythm and blues.
Oh, thank you. Hopefully I can get on one of your sets.
She was your path, girl.
Pretty soon. She's on path. Yeah, thank you again for joining Paths. I am your host, J.L. Benjamin, and I'm so excited, and we cannot wait to see you here again, back on the Paths Show. Check you later.